Isolating Worthy against Wilkins. And Doherty came around to help. Bird can't save it.
Did you see Worthy trying to shoot the ball, lying flat on his back? Now here's that penetration, the movement of Michael Jordan. I don't know what you do to stop him.
Lever buries one. That was a legitimate 360 by Michael Jordan on that replay. The East trailing most of this game until the last few minutes, have a 2-point lead. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the half. Timeout. Everyone has played in this game. Fratello and Riley will find out which combinations will work as we go on. Celtics and the Lakers from the Forum. Enough said at 3:30 Eastern Time. Right now, let's go to James Brown in the crowd. JB?
All right, Dick, this building has seen the likes of Jake LaMotta and Joe Louis, of course, famous boxers, and now it's got Mike Tyson watching the action. And, Mike, they build this game as having the 24 greatest athletes. I think that list ought to be expanded to include 25.
Well, you know, they're the greatest athletes as a team, but, you know, I do my thing on my own.
Mike, any skills that you see these guys possess that you'd like to take into the ring with you?
Not at all, because theoretically, and actually, if you look at it basically, it takes approximately the same amount of time to develop a good fighter as it does to develop a good basketball player, because they all have the timing, the coordination, the agility, and the fighter needs exactly the same
But we know that you have everything. But we know that you have a stronger punch indeed. Talk about knockout power. Let's go back to Dick and Billy.
And also in the audience, there's Oprah Winfrey enjoying the All-Star game as Wilkins hits the first free throw. He has 9 points. Jordan has 14. Those are the two main scorers for the East. More balance on the West, where Malone and Olajuwon have 8, and Pat Lever and Drexler have 6.
Now we see that front line that was so effective for the West with Olajuwon and Karl Malone.
Pick and roll inside. They got it inside to Akeem Olajuwon, who was a force early in the ball game, and he'll go to the line.
Well, on that play, what Worthy did is he just curled around the screen set by Olajuwon and realized that the way the defense played it, that Olajuwon was wide open and found him for that, well, found him for the possible dunk, but he did get fouled.
Clyde Drexler. He said, you know, the thing about the Lakers is that they've got, with all the great stars, they have Michael Thompson coming off the bench. He says, and once upon a time, he was the nucleus of our team in Portland.
That just tells you how strong the Lakers are.
Doherty inside working against Malone. Knocked away by Akeem, and Wilkins winds up beyond the photon. Isaiah Thomas coming back in the ball game for the East. Cheeks goes out, and Moses Malone will be checking in.
Thomas back, please.
Halftime, we'll have a look at yesterday's exciting activities. The three-point shootout and the slam dunk contest. Magic's pass to Malone. Thrown away, and Moses Malone back in the ball game. Interestingly, Billy, Moses Malone and Larry Bird are scoreless so far in this game.
Well, both players had the ability, though, to help their ball club in other ways. Bird by passing the ball, and Moses on the board.
Dominique Wilkins got inside, a foul against the West. And it's Akeem Olajuwon with his second personal foul.
Dominique, 2 shots.
Fratello and Larry Bird, and Fratello's main man on the line, and Dominique Wilkins. And, of course, he is really the main scoring force of the Hawks.
Well, he is, and what he's been able to develop, I think, more so this year than any year, is that leadership quality. You know, he has the ability to say, hey, let's go, guys, let's get down to work, and he's the one doing it defensively or on the boards, not just scoring.
Lever, he's been maybe the most effective outside shooter in the ball game. He's got 8. The East leads by 2, 44-42. 5:40 remaining. Michael Jordan knows the rims here, doesn't he?
Knows the rims, and that's a tough matchup for Lever trying to contest Michael Jordan in the low post.
And a steal by Jordan. He spun it away from the mailman. Jordan has 18 points. Malone misses, and the other Malone, Moses. Bird. And Larry Bird scores his first point of the game.
Think the West needs a little timeout to reorganize. They're just not in sync.
20-second timeout. 20-second timeout called by Riley.
Now, this is something Doug Collins coaches the Chicago Bulls players to do, to try and come from the rear to block the shots of the bigger players.
He leads the NBA in steals. Is there anything he can't do? Central Division. They have been the strong division, and you could see games over 500 really indicates it all. And right now, all 6 teams would be going to the playoffs in that division.
And it's a topsy-turvy division. You know, you look at Atlanta, Detroit, you know, who's going to win that division? You know, a couple weeks ago, Cleveland was in last place. Now, you know, all these teams are really vying for position as we go into the second half of the season.
And the Chicago Bulls, let's not forget them. They got off to that great start, then they cooled off, and now they're tied with the Pistons, 3 games behind Atlanta.
And they released, you know, Artis Gilmore, and now are playing a much smaller team.
Wilkins. Foul. And it was Jordan who shuffled the ball to Wilkins. And so the quickness of the East team is apparent right now. They've got a bunch of quick people in Jordan, Thomas, and Wilkins.
And this is Larry Bird's 4th steal. Look at him coming from the weak side. You know what? He knew what Olajuwon liked.
One out of the ball game, so there are 2 Celtics in Ainge and McHale. Nice save by Karl Malone. Lever. Ainge to Thomas, and they'll call the foul against Isaiah Thomas.
Charles Barkley checks back in for Dominique Wilkins.
Charles Barkley replaces Dominique Wilkins for the East Stars. Wilkins goes out with 13.
The All-Star game is always a game of streaks. You know, as many times as you've done this game, Dick, you know, there's 15-point runs, and then the other team will come back.
Olajuwon. And we've kind of had streaks, but no real big streaks. They've been mini streaks so far in this game. The East, though, with a 7-point lead. At one time, they were trailing by 8.
Back up.
Illegal defense called against the West.
Karl Malone, first violation warning, 24 seconds.
Now watch Olajuwon coming from the weak side, getting to the offensive boards. And if you don't have a body on him when the shot goes up, you're in trouble.
Isaiah Thomas tries to loop it over the big men. And Moses Malone is there for his first basket of the game. And Larry Bird getting a breather. Bird has scored just 2. But as you said, he's done other things, and the East is forged in front.
One thing in an all-star game like this, both coaches would like to have Larry Bird handling the ball as much as possible and Magic Johnson on the West handling the ball as much as he can. Because they make the right decisions.
West with Alex English and Lever, 2 Nuggets, Magic Johnson, Karl Malone, and Hakeem Olajuwon. So the 5 who started the game for the West are in there now. Not so for the East. Alex English.
You know, you look at Alex English. He's too skinny. He can't run very well. Doesn't jump. But he's been an all-star for, what, 7 years now.
Thomas came back with a bucket. Magic scoop doesn't happen. And Danny Ainge draws the foul going in, and a chance to give the East an 11-point lead.
The foul on Hakeem Olajuwon is
There's the slew of Atlanta coaches.
One of the things, Brendan Suhr on the right, what he's trying to do is keep track in the first half of the minutes that every player is playing to make sure that they're fair and that they allow these all-stars the opportunity to showcase their talents.
Hakeem Olajuwon has picked up his 3rd personal foul, and that will bring in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So Olajuwon goes out having scored 12 points and the high score for the West. Danny Ainge, who went from a singles hitter with the Toronto Blue Jays to a 3-point home run king in the NBA.
He hit a 3-pointer in 23 consecutive games this year.
That's a record.